Hey, what's up, people? Welcome to Clues Manifesto. Definitely feel free to follow and leave commentary. So, you know something? I saw this video. I saw this video not too long ago. It was also beside another video of a woman who was 40, and she was crying, talking about how, she wasn't accomplished at her age, and that, she grew up wrong, and, she was just depressed about her situation, which I can actually relate to. Growing older, you don't feel like you've achieved the stuff that you should have achieved at the ages that you were. We live in a different world now where stuff is more easily accessible. Life just moves fast, man. And, zoning out, life moves even faster. Zoning out as in taking your mind off of what you need to prioritize. That's what I mean by that. Just like living from day to day, not really thinking about your time. But let me play this video first of this one woman who's 53, and she's talking about how she feels alone. She doesn't have her special someone.
I'm 53. And I just can't believe that I'm sitting here, and it has been several years. I think it was over a year that I had a date.
I feel sorry for this woman. I really do.
And then it's been several years since then. Where are all the good men? I'm tired of being alone. I want to share my life with someone. I am just freaking tired. I want to be in love. I want to share my life with someone. I want to feel the joys. I want to have my hands held. I want to be held. I want to kiss. I want to support. I want to make coffee with that person. I want my person. I want my person.
And you know something? Everybody has that feeling. Everybody has that feeling that, you want your person who's out there, whose name you might not even know. But I do see where she's coming from when she says that.
Why is it so hard to find your person? I'm tired.
And you know something? There's some assholes out there who sit up there and laugh at this kind of stuff because, they live a loser life. And I've heard this kind of stuff from these incel, TFL style avenues. For anybody who doesn't know what TFL is, it's that whole true force loneliness demographic to where, going way back then, basically it was a whole bunch of guys complaining about the whole dating scene that they can't find women. And I do see the angle that they were coming from, that basically they were being written off quick and you have to bring a whole bunch to the table for you to be taken seriously. They said that basically you have to be at the level of a jock. You got to have all your stuff together. Otherwise, you're just going to be the runt of the litter. It was a whole demographic of these guys. That's back when there were like dating shows and, very heavy emphasis upon relationships. And I remember Steve Hoka, which was a guy who said that, one day women are going to regret rejecting all these men. They're going to hit the wall such and so. He said that he can't wait for such a day to happen. I would say we live in such a time to where you have some women who feel this kind of way. Because let's be perfectly clear, life happens to everybody. Nobody's perfect out here. And, you have some women who their years have passed them by. Like you don't, unless you actually have a schedule to your day, and I'm talking about like a 5-year, 10-year, 15-year plan to where life just doesn't just happen to you, you can lose track of time. What I call zoning out basically becomes Groundhog Day. Every day is the same. And, next thing you know, you look up and you're much older and you're like, damn, what happened to the time? What happened to me? You look in the mirror, you see wrinkles, and it throws you off, the fact that you're older. And you're like, wait a second, man, something is missing. So I do see where she's coming from. And you don't have to settle for whatever the hell, comes along. That's another thing. I don't like these people who sit up there and say, well, you need to settle. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to be happy. You need to pick somebody who you can be happy with. It's not about being overly picky, this and that. But, you don't want to just accept anything because otherwise that's going to create resentment. And you don't want to choose somebody who you can't stand in the long run. Like you're just going to be even more sad. So I do see where she's coming from. One sec. Now, this is the video that I saw as far as this woman. Let me just check this out.
Literally, I'm just turning 40 this year and everything is just hitting me right now. It's like, I'm not where I wanted to be. I haven't succeeded at anything. God, I haven't even tried. Like, I don't even know anymore. I don't know how to do anything. I don't know how to cope with anything. And like, I don't know how to, I mean, I did this whole growing thing wrong. Like I'm supposed to be an adult. I'm supposed to be able to handle these things, and I can't handle anything. I literally am just realizing like it's been 40 years of this, and like it's 40 years of just being confused and not knowing and like figuring things out slower and like not like I haven't built anything. I haven't nothing like to show for this time. I just don't know what I'm doing here, and I'm lost. I'm afraid, and I don't.
And you know something, I do feel sorry for this woman too, simply because, you have to have empathy for people who get, lost on their journey. You know, like feel for people the same way you want them to feel for you. And that's a good step. And, I completely relate to this kind of stuff. Because like I said, I mean, I grew up zoned out, meaning I didn't take my time seriously. I wasn't really paying attention too much. Paying attention too much, meaning that there was no 5 year, 10 year, 15 year plan, 20 year plan. You should be doing this, you should be doing that. My day just not that structured. And, you look up and you're much older and you're like, wait a second, man, what the hell just happened to the time? What happened to me? I did this whole growing up thing wrong. I'm not where I'm supposed to be. I don't have anything to show for it. Like it does make you feel some kind of way, you know? Not to say things can't happen, but it does. It makes you really think about all the time that's passed you by. And it's not that it's quote unquote too late, but it's like, where do you begin? Where do you begin? You know? And like it can make you feel helpless because it's like you have to gather everything that you are in order to create a suitable life for yourself. Like with me, I try to learn everything that I lay my hands on. I try to get into the area of just, carpentry, building, because number one, I mean, two properties, I feel like if I manage those things, I can get to the whole real estate avenue. And plus learning trades, that's just the future. It was always the past, the present, and the future because you have to learn things, like you have to have a skill that doesn't go out of style, you know, something that can't be easily replaced by a robot, automation, that kind of stuff. And the reason why I've discovered, reason why I began to realize the trades are the way to go is simply because, hey man, I mean, you stand to make more. Plus, this is stuff that you need. Like you need to be able to fix your plumbing. You need to be able to fix your electricity. You need to be able to build stuff that breaks around your house. You need to be able to fix your heating and cooling. Like this is stuff that you need daily, you know? And I think it's something that's actually pretty decent. And in housing, when it comes to real estate, like that's how people build up their wealth. That's how you move a lot of money. You do it through stuff such as real estate. And I thought about the whole avenue of content creation. That's also another avenue that's present day. These people who just really don't do anything but make their own channel a reality show. And they make a lot of money doing that kind of stuff. So you have to consider all options that are available to you. That's where I'm at with it. And I do understand, you know, I do understand how it feels like to grow up, but yet you feel lost. You wonder, are you by yourself? Trust me, you're not. There's a whole bunch of people who got some issues going on with them. You're just trying to find your slice of heaven. And, I mean, I can relate to that. I truly can, you know? Um, so yeah, I definitely feel empathy for this woman. Um, and I just wonder how many other people out there are like this. How many other people out there feel the same exact way or can relate to this kind of situation? We live, what I'm saying, on a lonely planet. There's a lot of people who aren't connected as they wish to be. There's a lot of people in the gray area of life. And that's where I feel most comfortable, truth be told. To me, that's like a natural habitat. I like being around people who are real when it comes to their situation. I can't stand being around what's fake. That stuff throws me off. I've always felt at home among people who are, expressing themselves. No, I don't laugh at people's issues simply because I feel like, it's nothing to laugh about. Yeah, there's a thousand things to laugh at under the sun. People's misery was never one of them. But yeah, I just wonder about all these different kind of people. I could talk more about this, but yeah, I can relate to what she feels and what she's saying. I need to do another video when it comes to the whole you know trying to once you establish yourself, once you get into the groove of things, finding a female, that also takes a whole nother form because it's like as you get older, you still want somebody who you're happy with, but you do realize that as you're older, so are the people who are of your generation, and not everybody takes care of themselves, man. Like that's just the reality of the situation, and so you're dealing with people who are just they've been beaten up by life. And it does leave you asking yourself the question, do you want to find a significant other among such people? Not to sound selfish, not to sound whatever. Well, yeah, to sound selfish. I mean, you're supposed to think about yourself you're supposed to do what makes you happy. I'll do a part 2 to this and talk more about it.